All right, so it looks like a lot of people are getting their hands on some Wolverine gameplay. It only makes sense. The game releases in September on the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. Sometime next month, I believe. But yeah, let's take a look at GameSpot's Wolverine hands-on preview impressions and see what they thought of the game too. Looks like they got a decent amount of footage here that they're showing, so let's check it out, huh? Lego.
Wolverine takes place on Earth 1048, the same universe as its Spider-Man games, and opens with an assault on a Weapon X base.
Right.
Wolverine teams up with his longtime hater, Sabretooth. I played through this section of the game just days after watching them both do the exact same thing
I like his
in
outfit.
X-Men 97. A foolhardy mission featuring Wolverine is a pretty common narrative beat in Logan's stories, irrespective of format. But that sense of fortuitously timed familiarity became a feeling that permeated much of what I saw and played of Wolverine. Wolverine is the latest in a type of game that PlayStation has become known for, a mostly linear action game that is narrative driven and uses introspection, self-discovery, and personal growth as theme for character development.
I have no problem with that either. I love that for my PlayStation games. You know what I mean? Like, these are the type of games that I play: the Uncharted, the God of War, the Spider-Mans. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Yeah, keep it coming.
It wasn't remarkable for its unique ideas, but nevertheless, it made a good impression in the way that it was executed.
And sorry, I don't mean to pause, but like that's another thing too. It's like with like for example, like with the arena fighter games, like the Storm games, the Jump Force games, the Bleach games, even like a 2D side scroller fighting game. Like, people will still buy these type of games if it's just wrapped up in a different package, like popular IP that you might have. Like, it's the same thing for me with these type of games, man. You give me a different character with the same type of format, I'm still cool with that. You know what I mean?
As it happens, that template works very well for Wolverine. In
Right.
this universe, Logan has lived a life spanning hundreds of years. He's been through hell, figuratively this time. His memory is broken, and since the X-Men team hasn't been established in this particular continuity yet, he's mostly a loner.
Huh,
This is a
really?
compelling starting point for the kind of tame the beast within tale
Really?
that packs a big punch when it comes to this character. Though Wolverine
So if the X-Men haven't been established yet, like, isn't his suit, like, isn't that like from the, unless I'm tripping, like I thought the Wolverine suit was like an X-Men suit, you know what I mean? Like, he got it from his time with the X-Men. Am I tripping or what?
may be a game made from familiar pieces, Insomniac is
I love
putting
this
them
outfit.
together in surprising ways. This became apparent from the intro, where a calm, wizened figure finds a feral Logan hiding in the wild and extends a helping hand. If you thought that person was Charles Xavier, founder of the X-Men, you'd be wrong. This time, it's Nathaniel Essex, the X-Men antagonist who will become known as Mr. Sinister.
Really?
By subverting expectations, Wolverine, the game, not the person, establishes tension and sparks intrigue. It got me thinking about Essex's inevitable turn and what could potentially trigger a schism between him and Logan. But my more immediate task was to team up with Sabretooth and Mystique.
That's
Team
a
X, as the trio is
interesting
known,
wrinkle.
was put together by Essex and are now trying to rescue him from the clutches of lunatic human supremacist Bolivar Trask.
Okay. That's quite the mix-up. Mr. Sinister is our benefactor. Oh, look, Mystique going to work. Hold on. Logan, you gonna help out or? Okay.
Okay. Let's get the easy part out of the way. Gameplay is brutal and has been designed to encourage brutality so that the violence, along with being true to the character and feeling very satisfying, also feeds into the narrative.
Good.
This, for me, is the most interesting part of the game thus far. Fundamentally, the mechanics of the combat are the same we've seen for years now. Light attacks, heavy attacks, a timing-based parry,
Right.
and dodges to create openings. And
Right.
like in similar action-oriented superhero games, you can develop all these mechanics by unlocking new skills or enhance them by unlocking perks, which the game calls adaptations.
Okay, here's your skill tree. Right? Is this a fucking? You gotta be joking. Ain't no way. Making money, GameSpot.
It's all
I ain't
the
mad at
essential
you.
building blocks of the free-flow combat system popularized by Rocksteady's Batman Arkham games, and now used in pretty much every game that has melee fighting in it. But what stuck with me was the sense of momentum that slowly builds as Wolverine lays waste to his enemies, how that feeds into Logan's mental state, and how the player becomes an active participant in that mind-body connection. Although Logan doesn't know who he is anymore, he has an acute awareness that inside him.
I will say this Mystique. I know it's a game and it's two different mediums. I understand it, but this Mystique looks loads better than the secret, the Doomsday trailer Mystique. I don't know. She needs a wig, man. Oh my goodness.
Something monstrous fighting to be let loose, which scares him. In the thick of combat, that push and pull struggle is represented by a meter that tracks his rage. Although Logan has his healing factor, he still feels pain and can be visibly injured. Rage, which splits into segments, begins as a way of recovering health. But the longer the violence goes on, the more Logan's rage meter builds and the more aggressive he becomes. For the player, that creates a satisfying loop that, smartly, is in lockstep with Logan's escalating on-screen emotions.
Okay, I
the
like
demands
that.
and the precision required of the player to take out waves of Trask's goons changes as he gets more and more enraged, until there's a kind of parity between the player's input and Logan's blind rage and indiscriminate killing.
Is this the hand?
Wolverine's opening salvo usually begins with a leap that closes the gap between himself and the enemy. With his claws out, he plunges into his target and launches into a series of quick attacks that can be ended with a more powerful one.
Very Wolverine-centric.
It's a ruthless dance of back and forth that requires directing Wolverine towards the most imminent threats, be they a soldier firing a gun from long range or one using a shield to take the sting out of his attacks. In one situation...
Now, am I missing it here? Like, with the parry, is it similar to like Arkham Asylum where you get like a indicator someone's about to attack you of an incoming attack? Am I missing that here, or you just got to time it? Looks like you just got to time it because my man's got the swing locked up, right? So doesn't look like yeah, unless he has it turned off for this particular preview here. I'm just wondering. That's one of the things I want to see.
Or one using a shield to take the sting out of his attacks. In one situation, Wolverine was lured into a room that takes away his healing factor, which means the player also needs to juggle taking out the devices suppressing his mutant abilities on top of the dangerous foes surrounding him.
Gotta have that.
As the rage built up, I initially used a heavy finisher where Wolverine impales the enemy on his claws and, by doing so, recovers health. This pairing of attacking until a bar of rage is available to heal and then repeating was very effective. However, by mixing in special techniques like the tornado spin, which sees Wolverine spin with his claws out to control the crowd of fodder, it becomes easier to maintain rage and continue building towards increasing the meter to its third level.
Dope.
About the same time I reached level 2, I found that the game was usually trying to overwhelm me with enemies, which pushed me to make quicker decisions in target prioritization, while also parrying and dodging, leaping to targets, attacking them, and moving on. This felt like an intentional ratcheting up of pressure, specifically designed to make the eventual payoff feel intoxicating.
Okay.
And it worked very well. At level 2 Rage, I was cutting through Trask's soldiers like they were made of butter, watching as the world around me was showered in blood and a grunting Logan leaped from one enemy to the next, claws out, shredding everything in his path. A few counters and a whole lot of eviscerated baddies later, Wolverine's Rage reached level 3. At level 3, Wolverine can launch into a berserker frenzy. This sees him essentially losing some degree of control as he's driven by pure animalistic instinct.
God.
The world loses its color, desaturating into black and white, and the sound of the musical score becomes muted, drowned out by Wolverine's heavy breathing and snarls, and the snick of his claws as they slice through bodies and the environment around him.
Jesus.
Crucially,
this ain't for the kids.
Simplified,
or it might be. I don't know. I don't know what kids are into now.
To viciously maul anyone in his path, instantly killing them. That process no doubt sounds pretty ordinary on paper, but I'd be lying if I didn't admit that the synergy between the various systems building into a big violent payoff put a smile on my face. It's one of the ideas that Insomniac has implemented to bring authenticity to the character in the same way that exhilarating web-swinging, mid-air pirouettes and impromptu backflips were how the studio realized the fantasy of being Spider-Man. There's a level of satisfaction that comes from the sudden shift from carefully timed strikes and evasive maneuvers to simply hammering two buttons to obliterate everyone and everything.
See, that is one thing that if I was going to give my worry for the game, is that like I like the combat in Spider-Man, but I I thoroughly enjoyed the web swinging and traversing through the city and everything else like that. I feel like with a character like Wolverine, and it's coming from the same, I guess, game. Well, it's coming from the same studio that's holding down somewhat of similar gameplay, right? Yeah, if you're losing like the web swinging and traversing of it all too, and you're left with the combat, which does look satisfying, but I wonder if it's going to get a little stale for me. You know what I mean? Because like that web swinging, it really I could just go hours and hours swinging around the city. It's just like traversal with Wolverine. I mean, like his main focus is just like dismembering enemies and stuff like that. Like what's along with the story, what's also going to be like an additive benefactor with the gameplay, other than just chopping people up, you know? Because like you can do a lot of different things with Spider-Man. Like they implemented a lot of different side missions with his swinging, and his gliding too, and things of that nature. Like this fun little mini games that you can do aside from the combat. But I wonder if how's that going to be. I wonder if there's anything that's going to be implemented in the Wolverine game that's going to be similar, like this. Maybe something with his enhanced senses or things of that nature. Maybe some side quests with some other heroes as well. Maybe just to keep it a little bit more interesting. I just feel like his combat itself, if that's what you're playing the game for, perfectly fine. But what is some other additives that's going to keep you locked into the game, if that makes any sense at all?
Embodies Wolverine and his anger so well, but it was also released for me too. Like Logan, I was able to throw out the need to think about what I was doing and give in to effortless and mindless killing. In this berserker state, continue to attack and kill adds to his rage meter, which means it's possible to stay in that mode for extended periods of time, making the crash all the more effective when the berserker state ends and sights and sounds of the world come rushing back, leaving Wolverine and the player to deal with the death and destruction they wrought together. It's a very neat trick that for the couple of hours I played never got old. Whether that transition remains as effective over multiple hours remains to be seen, but I suspect that being able to unlock new techniques and adaptations will keep things fresh. That satisfaction of combat is what I left thinking most about, but there were a number of other noteworthy elements that I'm eager to experience more of. As mentioned, Nathaniel Essex's arc from idealist to lunatic is a major one. During my session, I reached a point where cracks started to form in his relationship with Logan, as Essex started to descend into his own kind of savagery. But there are also numerous other characters and relationships that are similarly intriguing. This is one of the few instances of non-comic book X-Men material choosing to explore Mystique beyond the usefulness of her shape-shifting abilities in Subterfuge. She's actually the cooler head on Team X, and often has to keep Wolverine and Sabretooth on task. She's depicted as smart, level-headed, and very much in love with Tiger. That's part of the character we haven't seen much of on screen. Similarly, there's nuance in the way Sabretooth is depicted. Although he's constantly giving Wolverine grief and goading him, it's clear that he sees him as a kind of kindred spirit, and though he'll never admit it, he's the closest thing Sabretooth has to family. That means that when cracks in Team X start to form, Sabretooth takes it very poorly, lashing out at Logan.
You want to call the shots? Kick Essex's ass! Take charge!
Jean Grey, meanwhile, is on the run, trying to help her fellow mutants while evading capture. As outcasts, Logan and Jean start to build a relationship that brings out the vulnerabilities in both of them. And surprisingly, my time with the game ended with the introduction of the Hand, a criminal organization that usually shows up in Daredevil stories, but are a big part of Spider-Man Brand New Day. This in turn paves the way for Lady Deathstrike to further complicate Logan's life. It's undeniable that Insomniac's take on Logan is firmly planted in familiar game design, but Wolverine is clearly doing more than just fitting a typical story of the character in it. From the little I played, its take on Logan, the way it continues to build out Earth 1048.
Okay, so just speaking on the story so far. First off, I'm not entirely too familiar with Mr. Sinister. Like, I know who Mr. Sinister is, but like he does a lot of mutant experimentation. He takes a lot of powers from different mutants based on the experiments that he's done on mutants. But what is his base? What's his baseline mutant power? You know what I mean? Like, I know he's kept he's like, if I'm going to make a comparison, right? He's similar to Orochimaru in Naruto, right? Like, who's just accumulated a bunch of jutsus and ultimately was able to preserve his youth. Similar to Mr. Sinister, if we're talking about mutations, if we're replicating, or not replicating, if we're replacing jutsus for mutations, just to have that comparison there. But yeah, so it is an interesting wrinkle and a cool twist that they're doing with Mr. Sinister, that he is somewhat of a benefactor for Wolverine too as well, and having Mystique as the head or the leader for Weapon X here. That's very interesting as well. I want to see more of what they're going to do with the relationship with Sabretooth and Wolverine as well. And it's very fortuitous, I guess, because X-Men 97 just ended and they gave us a little tease for, oh, well, I guess spoilers. They gave us a little tease for Mystique, so we're probably going to get a lot of her in season 3. But yeah, like the relationship between Wolverine and Sabretooth, I don't think it's been explored mainstream wise for the grander audience on the big screen, because we just seen him as like a rage monster in the main. Well, I guess I'll take that back, because like X-Men Origins Wolverine had somewhat of a take on Sabretooth as well, and they had like a rocky relationship with I forgot the actor's name, but the guy who played Sabretooth in X-Men Origins. But this is another deep dive into the relationship, which is it's kind of needed, because I think that's the only iteration of Sabretooth where we've gotten him outside of just a rage monster or just a beast. You know what I mean? Aside from the comics, because people in the comics know a lot about Sabretooth, and I'm pretty sure they go in depth onto his character as well. But what do you guys think so far? I'm really intrigued what they're going to do with the story, because and plus we have Jean Grey. There's Jean Grey as well. You know, like she's on the run, and like they said in the beginning of the video, like he said here, he's not part of the X-Men yet. You know, like so meeting Jean Grey outside of that team dynamic, man, that's an interesting little wrinkle as well. I'm curious how they're going to build out this universe, because they said there's not going to be a Spider. It's in the Spider-Man universe, but he's not going to be a Spider-Man. But what I'm overall intrigued with is just like, are they building something out where it's going to be a connective thing where a lot of these characters are going to meet in future games as well? Is this really going to be like a MGU, a Marvel gaming universe? That's what's really got me intrigued so far. This is actually making my excitement for the game and the story way more elevated than I thought it was going to be. I guess we have to wait and see. When does this come out? I think it's the 16th or the 15th, right? It's not early September. I think it's like mid-September. I think Control is early September, Control Resonant. But we'll have to wait and see, man. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Let me know what you think, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let YouTube know you like what you're watching. We'll catch you the next time. Bye!